I first became aware of art therapy in 2006, and the program that I was exposed to was for children who have cancer and they're going through treatments, how art therapy can help them deal with that instead of closing in. And when I became First Lady of Indiana, I started to see art therapy used with our vets, and it was such a powerful tool. I'd never really thought of art therapy for someone who has PTSD, but it's actually very, very successful. And when I became Second Lady, it was important to me to choose an initiative that people are not familiar with. And so a lot of people think art therapy is arts and crafts. And they'll say, oh yeah, that's great, give them some crayons, some clay, makes them feel better, that's great. That's not it at all. Because the side of the brain that is injured with trauma is not the verbal side. So when an art therapist who is a master's or doctorate trained therapist sits down with art supplies, they use those to kind of bring out the trauma. Then the client is able to kind of talk through those issues and work through those issues. When I was Second Lady and I decided to make art therapy my initiative, I started talking to some research doctors at Walter Reed. They're doing research right now on people who are experiencing trauma who also use art therapy. And what they're finding is their anxiety levels are lowered, they're measuring oxygen in their blood, they're looking at the cellular structure, they're actually even taking deep brain images, and they're able to actually see how the brain is healing. And I just feel like we need to get this word out to our vets. One of the most interesting things for me is, just like today, when I met with some Fort Campbell art therapist patients, they actually said, you know, I resisted this forever because art therapy sounds like, oh, no, I'm tough soldier. I don't want to do that. I'm not an artist. I don't want any part of that. But what they found was, as they worked through some of these issues using the art, they all shared with me how healing it was and how their family life is restored, their relationships are restored. They're able to get rid of a lot of the anxiety and some of the symptoms that they were experiencing with trauma. So it's a powerful, powerful tool. I do know that what art therapy seems to do is it opens up that side of the brain, and then we can get in and start to heal. One of the soldiers today said this was the key. This unlocked some of the turmoil that I was dealing with inside, so that I all of a sudden was able to kind of confront those demons that I'd been dealing with all by myself. For me, I'd love it if every soldier had access to art therapy, almost if it were a mandatory thing, but I'm certainly not going to lobby for that or push for that. But I want people to be aware, and I think sometimes people just don't know how beneficial something is. So to be able to come here and say, okay, a minimal number of soldiers are able to get art therapy right now, wouldn't it be better to have more of our soldiers getting art therapy? But to be able to hear these guys and gals be able to say to me, you know, this is the thing that worked, because they're the ones who are going to be able to spread that message even better than I do. But for us, we're excited because there's a program called Creative Forces that frequently partners with NICO, and we're opening up several more of those around the country this year for our vets. And I just think the more we can make people aware, the better. We're just telling more and more people it's not arts and crafts. It's actually therapy, and it really does make a difference.